Well, what started your TikTok journey? Was it during the pandemic? Was it prior to it? Like,
Uh-huh.
tell me your journey on TikTok, because that's where I discovered you. Not that you didn't exist before then, but
Right. Yes.
for me and
Well,
all the other TikTok peoples,
yeah.
how did you come to be on?
Well, TikTok, I resisted it for a while. I resisted it for a good year or two because it was after the pandemic that I got on TikTok. Yeah, it was afterwards. I'm not gonna be dancing on TikTok. I was like, I can dance, but I'm not about to be dancing on here. That's not what I'm here for. I don't have time for this.
Right.
And I was so adamant on not being camera facing. I was like, people aren't gonna be watching me. People don't want to watch me and listen to what I have to talk about. I was like, that's just not a thing. I was like, I don't have anything to talk about. And finally, I think it was 2021. I was like, you know what? I'm going to lean into TikTok and I'm just going to talk about what I know. And I was like, well, what do you know? You know people, you know mental health, lean into it. And one of my first videos that really took off was about boundaries and
And
understanding.
brilliant.
Listen, that had the room hot because either people agreed or people were like, oh, this isn't right. I'm like, look, you can't tell somebody how they're allowed to be treated so you can have access to treating them poorly. It's not how it works.
That's a bar right there, Isaiah. I don't know what an ether beat is, but that's a bar.
Burr, 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 burr. Yes, yes, yeah. So I think I've just leaned into it, and since then I've just been leaning more into that because I understand that comes easily, and I also recognize how many people it's helping. So I'm like, I must be doing something right. So let me do it
Yeah.
right. You know.
I mean, this man got over 100,000 followers. So listen, somebody is out there listening, okay?
Apparently,
And being, but did it surprise you? Did your popularity of what you had to share? Because I think
yes.
that you're talking like I'm just talking about what I know, but I also feel like sometimes you're talking and you're being used as a vessel to reach people.
That part, my popularity still surprises me because there's never a time where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm an influencer. I'm like, yeah, I'm just this person that has a social media following or whatever. And then people are like, you're an influencer. I'm like, no, not really. I just like to, talk about these things. But it does surprise me. And man, the being used as a vessel, I think, is a real thing because Isaiah is a prophet, right? And you know, I try to mean what I say and say what I mean with intention and impact. So I'm kind of leaning into it. And I recognize it does come with a lot of responsibility, right? And people will challenge you, right? It will make other people uncomfortable. And that in itself comes with a whole different narrative. So it's a lot.
Yeah, I can only imagine because you're not talking about fluffy things all the time. You're talking
No.
about things that challenge people and how they
Hmm.
move in the
Yeah.
world, whether it
Yeah.
be on the side that you're talking or the opposite side.
Yes.
And what I've come to know is a lot of people are not used to being called out on their stuff. And I think that a lot of your videos call people out.
Yeah. And I didn't realize that at first until people started challenging me. And, you know, something that I've learned is that again, these people don't know me and I don't know them. So them projecting so hard is just an indication of things that they are not working through or haven't worked on, right? You don't know
Mhm.
me, but what I'm saying is familiar to you,
Yeah.
right? Right? There I'm saying certain things that would potentially cost somebody a relationship.
Yep. Or make you review it.
Listen, get out the assessment and the data chart and you start comparing numbers and doing all the math, the pie is like, oh, okay, so this
Mhm.
has been a little lopsided for the past however many years. It's I think and for me, I think the misconception with people a lot of times when I do talk about this stuff is the perceptions that, oh, Isaiah just throws away his relationships. Actually, no. right? I'm hard body for my relationships and the people in them or that I have relationships with. Why? Because I understand how important they are.
Yeah. No, what
You
comes
know?
across to me is that you don't leave a lot of space or room for people who are not reciprocating that same kind of energy. It might not be identical, but it's definitely
Right.
going to be reciprocal. And
Listen, yes.
and look, it's you know how they say we ain't got room. There's no room. We're full.
Maximum capacity, because it's again, I'm a very understanding person and I'm not a quid pro quo person. I know how I'm willing to show up in life and other people won't show up identical, and that's fine. But
Yeah.
I can recognize when somebody's trying and when somebody's trying me. There's a big
Mm.
difference, right?
Yeah.
There's a big difference.
Yeah.
So in that space, it's like, all right, cool. If that's how you move, I'm gonna move out your way. It doesn't need to be this big thing, but I think people are offended that you don't tolerate their behavior versus them recognizing that their behavior is not okay.